Okay, big breaking news coming in from the Supreme Court that we're shifting to right now. The Supreme Court ordering an immediate medical termination of a pregnancy of a 14-year-old rape victim. We just bring you more context. This is a rape survivor from Maharashtra. The pregnancy itself was almost in its 30th week, and now the state government has agreed to take care of all the expenses and medical needs. The order from the Supreme Court came after the recommendation of a medical team, which said that the continuation of the pregnancy would affect the physical and emotional well-being of the minor. The doctor recommended that a certain degree of risk was attached to the termination of the pregnancy, but the threat to her life was not higher than delivery at full term. Let's go over to our colleague Ananya Bhatnagar to understand more. Ananya, there's a context here as to when the Supreme Court does and doesn't allow medical terminations after a certain point. Can you just bring our audiences more about this particular case and why this judgment is so important?
Well, definitely, it's a very, very crucial verdict coming in from the topmost of the country. Time and again, the Chief Justice of India, Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, has been, dealing with matters relating to medical termination of pregnancy. And if you remember, in the last year itself, he made a very, very big judgment and made various amendments to, in fact, the MTP, the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act, very clearly and categorically, going on to say that bearing a child is something that is the complete prerogative of that woman. It is the bodily autonomy of the woman that is the most important thing, and which gives her, in fact, the power to actually bear a child, is what the Chief Justice of India had said in that historic verdict, that it paved the way, in fact, going against the Joe versus Wade in fact, which is said to be one of the biggest judgments when it comes to this topic across the world.
Ananya, just explain to our audiences, as you said, the MTP Act says the upper limit for termination is 24 weeks for married women as well as anyone in special categories, including rape survivors or vulnerable women, minors. So does this mean, this judgment where the pregnancy is already in its 30th week, does this now open up a different set of circumstances under the MTPA itself?
Well, definitely it does not, because, every case when it comes to abortion or medical termination of pregnancy, though the MTPA Act is something that allows for certain set of guidelines, but the most important and the crucial aspect is, the opinion of the medical board, and if the medical board seems fit, then abortion can actually be allowed. And in this case, since the risk of delivering the child was higher than, in fact, getting that particular child aborted, is something that was taken into consideration. And in fact, it was very, very clearly and categorically submitted by the doctors, the doctors who had examined the 14-year-old minor, very clearly noting that, bearing this particular child could actually not only cause physical harm to the victim, but also could impact her medical, mental health drastically. So after these observations and noting what the doctors had to say, the Chief Justice of India-led bench has now, paved the way for the medical termination of pregnancy of this particular 14-year-old victim. Remember that this case actually is with regards to a 14-year-old girl who was actually raped, and this pregnancy came to be discovered very late because of that, forced intercourse. And that's exactly why, in fact, today, after noting the doctor's opinion, the topmost of the country has paved the way for justice for this little girl, isn't it?
Thank you, Ananya. All right, we're going to